Okay. Okay. I'm back. I'm out here. I'm out here trying to, trying to get to it, man. I'm out here getting to it. The focus as of right now. I'm a gig worker, if you didn't know, and of course, well, you know what? By the time I edit and put a thumbnail and whatever it is, I'm gonna actually call this video. You should probably get that idea about it. But anyway, all right. If you've made it this far, I don't know how long it's actually been, but if you made it this far, with me doing the rambling, of course, I've meant to make this, the collection of what this video is going to be, because I realize I'm gonna get cut off a few times. But if you made it this far, all of this rambling that I'm doing, I want to thank you personally. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? And yeah, I appreciate you. I'm definitely grateful that you're here. I hope, hopefully we get to interact. You know what I mean? I'm ready to have some fun about this legitimately. Right now I'm out dashing, and it's a funny thing. I kind of don't want. I may talk about it on this video, and I may not. But just to make simple mention of it, because out here in the gigasphere, out here in the gigasphere on the YouTubes and whatnot, it's been somewhat the conversation of late amongst us, giggers. Like, should we be taking the trash orders? I just delivered one right now, and as a matter of fact, I just got started. It's kind of late. And the funny thing about it, you may or may not. Again, I don't know exactly how long this video is gonna end up being, but you know how long it's gonna be. And again, if you made it this far, I want to thank you. But I'm only out getting started this late because I had previously been in the house babbling to myself, trying to actually get a feel of how I was gonna sincerely deliver this to you, right? Like, right now, right here, right now. And all of that practicing of which I did, I'm still not sticking to the script. I'm still not sticking to the script at all, man. I'm just gonna freestyle it. This one is legitimately meant to be extremely candid. It's just my introduction to you. I want you, man, I'm ready to have fun. I'm serious when I say that. Ironically, serious about having some fun. I'm just ready to dive in, man. I'm ready to dive in. I want to give you a little bit of background. I've been, as far as the gigging goes, I didn't start off on DoorDash, even though I will probably talk a lot about DoorDash on this journey. I started off on an app called Point Pickup. And for those who don't know what Point Pickup is, you most likely know what Spark is, right? And Point Pickup in my area, Point Pickup was basically Spark, you know what I mean? Now, overall, across the nation, I'm quite sure it's a little bit, it's more so like, it's kind of a hybrid cross between Spark and something like Dispatch or Roadie. I've noticed what Roadie is here lately. From some, I'm gonna get some shout outs to some people that these type of people I've just been studying over time and whatnot, and some newcomers that actually, they broke the camel's back on me actually, snapping to and making the decision to actually commit to this journey of starting to do this, starting to post more consistently, and continuously, just in general, just at all. When it comes to the whole imposter syndrome, man, I am one of the one of the most offensive. I'm one of the most offensive. There's been so much that I've come to realize now. I'm a late bloomer, right? And it's because that imposter syndrome, whatever that actually is, if we were to give it another name, whatever that thing is, I am the worst offender. I am one of the worst offenders. I gotta be candid with you, be completely honest with myself about it. There's always a twinge in me that just feels incompetent. I feel incompetent. I just don't feel confident in going into certain things completely by myself. I'm okay with doing the work by myself. I don't really like the reason I enjoy gig work so much is I don't like, overbearing supervision. I don't like someone breathing on my shoulder. Please get away from me, get off me. Like, okay, you've taught me how to do this job. I know how to do it. You know what I mean? Once you taught me how to dribble, the style of dribble that I use is mine. It's unique to me. When somebody tries to mimic what it is I do, someone may point out to you, oh, that's okay, that's such and such style. Just teach me what I'm doing, that I know this is actually what I'm supposed to do. I'm quite sure, as everyone does, you kind of put a little bit of your own spin on something. But that's why I love, gig work. And to be quite honest with you now, my ultimate goal is not necessarily just to stick with gig work, but for right now, and especially in regards to the point pickup in DoorDash, right? It's been what's been paying the bills here lately. I decided to get on it and stick to it, treat it as if it was legitimately my own company, because ultimately it is, right? Ultimately it is. You're an independent contractor, and as an independent contractor, you are your own business. You're responsible for these taxes and all sorts of things of that nature, right? But just jumping right into something, getting back to the point that I was going to start up on, just getting started with something with the idea of, fail forward. I've dreaded actually embracing that, that philosophy. It's like, oh, it's too hard for me to do that. I was raised in such a fashion that I was rewarded too much for doing right, that like so sincerely, I rarely have I failed anything. I think I've only failed one legitimate 6-week period of school, like, honestly. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't so much that I really just failed it as I thought I had more time to complete some of the assignments that we had, just because I was an athlete, and there was certain things, you know how that goes. You think you have a certain privilege, and you try to take advantage of it too. It came back to bite me in the butt on that one. But that was the only time I actually had, and it was a 69. It was actually, I was only discredited by one credit point. But I've always been incentivized. I've always been incentivized to excel. So the failing part is just one of them things I dread, And when it comes to the real world, being out here as an entrepreneur, a lot of what you're doing is not necessarily like, here's a legitimate standard. There's only so much of a standard. It's not really standards. It's more fundamental elements, right? That make up any bit of what it is you want to do as a business, as an adult. There are fundamental elements. Now, how you style these elements is completely up to you. And because it's not so standard as school was for me, the syllabus was already laid out. The curriculum is already what it's going to be. You know what I mean? The teacher is present, but in all actuality, since you've given me this book, I know how to read at this, it was a certain, level of school where it's like, I know how to read. So you've already given me the book. You just tell us what we're going to be tested on the next test, what chapter that's coming from. I got it. That's cool. Life is different. Life is different. Life as an adult, there's no legitimate standard of, okay, you need to such and such and such and such, you need to do this, and this is a chapter that we're gonna pull from. No, this stuff is coming from everywhere. Life is gonna life. Life is gonna life at you from everywhere, and life legitimately has really been lifing lately. And to go back to the original, my original introduction in this video, and again, I didn't realize how long I was gonna make this. I was gonna try to make it as short and concise as I possibly can, but I suppose over time you'll come to find, when it comes to me, I rarely do that. I do promise you, however, I'm gonna get better in regards to that. But going back to, you know, the whole incorporation of what the name of this channel is, you know, the way of the hub, right? And the philosophy of what that actually means, and how life, you know, every movement you make affects the matrix, right? The matrix itself actually affects you. You know, man, everything, as much as we believe that there's so much disconnection, absolutely nothing is really disconnected. Everything is adjacent. Everything is side by side. Any small movement you make may feel, you know, insignificant, but it's affecting. You know, it is affecting. Yeah, you affect and it affects you. All of this came to a head for me to finally make this decision. I'm gonna start doing this. And again, oh man, this is gonna be fun. I can't wait to interact with so many more of you. You know, I know it's me personally, like the thing I'm heavy in the dash, right? I'm heavy on the dash. I might make that might be my first merch. I might make that some merch, you know, heavy on the dash, right? You know, that's what I'm working with. But all together, you know, people that do curry, people that do Uber Eats, you know, the DoorDash, the roadie, the dispatch, you know, those are actually like NEMTs and stuff. Like, I want to interact with you guys too, because I've been thinking about that. I actually used to do NEMT in the realm of pharmaceutical goods, where I was a regional courier, right? But that was back then. I was actually subcontracted to a subcontractor. It was pretty strange, but the experience of it in itself was actually delightful in the overall sense. I ended up parting ways, obviously, you know, behind some most likely, right? Like if you were to ask, or you were to take a guess, you knew most likely it was about some, you know, some money issue. You know, small discrepancy. I just like, listen, man, for the amount of time that y'all want me to be out, because I'm coming from, you know, this little, it's a smaller city close to San Antonio, going from, you know, Seguin all the way out to Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur area every night. I did that 5 nights out the week. I did that for about 2.5 years straight. I think I did it for about 2.5 years straight. But I enjoyed it, and I had other stuff. You know, I used to go to school in Houston, and you know, some of my guys I went to school with, you know, we all kind of embarked on our own, you know, business endeavors and things of that nature. And one of my greatest strengths is actually refinement. So I'm somewhat of a consultant. It's unofficial, but that's the capacity I show up in for, you know, for the friends, you know, my friends that I went to school with. And so I would do stuff with them. You know, I'd stop in, you know, I'm doing my job, you know, here, and finish up with the route. And you know what, I got a little time to shoot the breeze, and then we call up my partners and see what's going on with them, you know. You know, so I did that. And as far as business goes, actually starting, you know, business movement, like, you know, this is business, but being serious about, oh, you know what, let me do a company, let me make a company, let's have this company be something. And again, this will be something I end up talking about later on, because the spirit of this channel is about entrepreneurship and connectivity, not necessarily just the gig work, but I'll do some distinguishing between, you know, the different departments and whatnot, you know. But, you know, entrepreneurship and wanting to start a business and doing business and gig work and just the entire journey of, you know, all of these things, you know, that's what this channel is going to be about. So I want to connect with, you know, people that are in those spaces, you know. Let me, you know what, that being said, let me jump into the shout outs, because this is important. This is important for me to say it, you know, like, being that this actually, I didn't know it, but this is actually gonna make it to my official YouTube channel, right? And so I want to send these shout outs, man. I want to send these shout outs to the people that have contributed to the inspiration behind me actually getting started, behind me actually finally saying, you know what, let's make this a regular thing. You know, let's start off with Nicole Cherie. Big shout out to Nicole Cherie. Big shout out to my homegirl that's not actually my homegirl, but she's one of the people I legitimately got to see, probably the closest to their start that I've got to see anybody actually start and level themselves up to a millionaire. And that's my homegirl Sierra Nicole. I've actually got a chance to kind of watch her and as close to the beginning stages as I've watched anybody. Next on that list, who's actually one of the biggest influences on my list, is my guy JT Hustles. He goes by JT Automations now. And that in itself is a testament to what it is I mean by seeing somebody kind of go from, you know, such a level to such a level. You know what I mean? This guy, I think, real spill, low key, he's got to be a multi-millionaire by now. When I first caught wind of him, I feel like I caught him like around the time he might have had, you know, 20 or 30 videos. I'm quite sure he's got hundreds, if not thousands, right? And again, he goes by JT Automations. He's a hustler. You feel me? He's putting in work like that. He's that guy like that. Big shout out to JT Hustles. Big shout out. Inspirations of other people who are off of YouTube and some that are on YouTube, you know, on YouTube and Facebook and all kinds of things. My guy Devontae Sheard, Talmadge Spicer, of course Dr. Boyce Watkins. I always enjoy the content. I'm down for the cause of what it is he speaks on a lot. Legitimately want to meet him one day, as well as I want to meet Miss Danielle Pierce. I actually putting a face to it. I've actually at one point made a promise. I said I was gonna meet her one day so I can thank her, because at a certain point, you know, there was a mixture of all of these people I'm giving shout outs to right now. There was a mixture of these people that I was just watching day by day. I was just watching. Okay, let me pick up this little bit of information. Let me pick that up. Let me pick that up. Let me pick this up. I'll use this one day. I'm still not confident just yet, but I'm gonna use this one day. You know, Danielle Pierce. Shout out to her. I may very well meet her. John Hope Bryant. And these last three guys are actually, you know, they were the straw that broke the camel's back. And I've only been watching them for a very short time, you know, because life be lifing. It put me on my butt for about 3 weeks here recently, and in that time, the combination of these guys, actually 4 guys, because shout out to Pedro Santiago. I just remembered his name. I didn't know what his whole channel name. I think it's Pedro DoorDash Santiago. Is his whole name. Shout out to him. A combination of him, the content, the subject matter which everybody was talking about. Also DoorDash Trader. You know, should we be taking these trash orders? You know, let me add him in there too, so it's 5 guys. But that was funny, 5 guys. Shout out to Big CJ, who we share a market. He's on some other stuff, some stuff I actually thought about when I was actually doing the courier business, right? When I was doing the courier work. What he's doing right now, I had ambitions to do stuff like that. So it's good to see, you know, to see someone I can probably do a little bit of modeling from. Big shout out to him. Shout out to Sean in town. I picked up some information I had been searching for to make doing what CJ does, right? When I get involved in it, make it easier for me to find what it is I'm actually looking for. Shout out to Sean in town, and shout out to my guy DDK. I think his channel goes by the name of Cars and Cribs, but DDK calls himself DoorDash King. That's my guy. I love his energy. I love his energy. But the combination of actually this past 2-3 weeks watching these guys and all of the stuff I've accumulated over time, all of these years, I've just been there. I'm taking this in and taking that in, and you know what? Okay, a little bit here, a little bit there. Finally ready to do a little bit of this. you know, doing a little bit of this. And I'm looking at how much I've been speaking here. And this is a trip. I really am a freaking motor mouth. I'm a motor mouth. But this is my introduction. I want to have fun. I want y'all to have fun with me. I don't know what to call y'all just yet, because I'm just getting started. Eventually, I know I'm going to come up with something to catch. You know, I'll let y'all dictate a little bit to me of what it is y'all like to be called. You know, it's gonna be y'all my family one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? It's the Hubster family. You feel me? All my Hubsters out there, man, y'all stay hubstling. I might be trying too hard with that, right? But listen, man, y'all be blessed. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off here. I've spoken enough. This is my official introduction. This is gonna be fun. I've said it I don't know how many times on this video. Man, let's get to it. You know what I mean? Let's get to it. Stay with the bag. You know, keep the bag with you when the cash come to get you. You know what I mean? Man, y'all be easy. Be blessed. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Alrighty.